right, thanks Chris. So next up we'll have John Bristowe from Telerik talking to us about Kendo UI.
Hi everyone. You guys all have your beer now? It's great. Get all the alcohol in so you can hear my talk. Great. You're gonna need it. My name's John. I work for a company called Telerik. We design a framework called Kendo UI, which is this web page here. If you want to find out more, you go to kendoui.com. We are very similar in many respects to some of the other frameworks that have been mentioned here tonight. The way I'll just talk basically about Kendo UI, but I'm not going to badmouth the competition in any way. There was many things that were said that were actually very true and very accurate, not about Kendo, but in terms of UI frameworks in general. So we're a big believer and strong supporter of that. So especially on the Facebook side, HTML5 not being fast enough is complete bullshit. Anyway, so Kendo UI is comprised of 3 collections: web, data viz, and mobile. And so we basically allow you as a developer to target one of those 3 scenarios. So if you're interested in designing for the traditional desktop, you can target our web widgets. If you're looking at designing for mobile, we have a mobile collection. And then if you're wanting to use data charts and graphs, you can use those in either one of those. So I'll just quickly show you some examples of that. You can drive this yourself by going to our website, but I'll just, a demo's worth 1,000 words, so to speak. So we have a number of widgets, some new widgets actually that have been just recently released that you can go ahead and check out. By the way, the way in which this all works is just simply through angle brackets and script. So we target an element, we turn it into a magical widget, and that's about it. The way that's done is simply through a CSS selector. So you'll just select the element and turn it into the target widget that you want to. So we have everything from grids, which you can see here, and other types of operations that you can conduct against those. We have a new component we've released called the scheduler, which was very, very requested. This is sort of the calendar view. Every widget that we design, by the way, is touch-centric. So we support not only touch events, but also pointer events for i10, 11. So that's really, really critical, and we built that from the ground up. So we do a variety of operations and support those throughout the framework itself. We also have a framework that underpins these UI widgets. So we have a variety of framework elements that support your development. So we have a data source control, which allows you to pull and push data to and from endpoints, whether they're local or remote. So you can basically target all the CRUD operations: create, retrieve, update, delete, against any endpoint. We support OData, XML, JSON, JSONP if you're going to do cross-domain. We have template support, so we have our own templating engine, and we have a MVVM, which is a model view model support. We integrate this, but that's not to say that we actually don't support others. But the reason why we integrate those is because we want to be that one dependency that you need. As some of you may know, when you start integrating a lot of different dependencies, you can get into that dependency nightmare. If you change one, everything breaks. So by integrating them and having this one dependency, you basically can be assured that it's going to work in those cases. We have SPA support for not only web, but also mobile. We have an effects library driven via CSS, drag and drop, a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll just show you some more demos here of other widgets that we have. So talked a little bit about some of these. Briefly show you some other ones. We have a pretty badass editor. I know that doesn't sound like much, typical WYSIWYG editor just targets a text area, but we have an inline editing mode, which is pretty awesome. It preserves the fidelity of your experience, which is the ultimate rendered markup, and then inline you can just simply target it. So it allows you to do inline editing, which is pretty awesome. This is something that we've been working on for a while, and it's actually pretty cool. So, obviously another thing is that I heard this question come up during the Sencha talk is how do we theme these things? We have a set of theme builders which allow you to customize the look and feel of your widgets. So on this page we have just a bunch of different widgets: grids, menus, pickers, buttons, calendars, etc. And we can customize these through a number of built-in themes that we support. Or you can use what we have called a theme builder, and these are just targeting the various classes that we define. All of our classes are k- prefixed, so we try and prevent name collision by doing that. So you'll notice here if it's, for example, Valentine's Day, and I want to have a nice, heart sort of message for my end users, I can customize that. We generate the the CSS, and as you can see here, we have our k- prefix there. We also generate less as well for that generation as well. But you can simply target these, and that also applies to other widget types as well, like data viz, which I'll talk about now. So data viz are charts and graphs. So these are a variety of charts and graphs that you can target. We have any number of charts and graphs that you could possibly want. We're adding more and more to this list. We've recently added radar charts, polar charts, etc. These are rendering as SVG, but we've recently added support that allows you to render as canvas as well. So you can mix and mode. You can mix and match those ones. And the reason why you might want to do that is with SVG, you can preserve fidelity as well as have a higher degree of interactivity. Because you are writing to the DOM, it can be a little bit more performance intensive and a little bit slower. So we do support canvas as well. So we support canvas rendering for that purpose. So we have a variety of different types of charts and graphs, including barcodes, QR codes, etc. Sadly, we don't support MS Tag, but that's going away, so that was a joke, but whatever, no one gets it. That's right, you gotta explain the jokes, it's a bad sign. Every controller widget we have has an event model and API, so you can see everything filtered up, you can target everything, you can customize everything. I should say also that we run as a Jquery plugin, so our one dependency is Jquery, that's it. But then after that, you can just simply just utilize that. We have a variety of widgets in here as that you can use. Of course, any demo wouldn't be complete with a really bad demo, which I'm really good at doing. So I did a bunch of visualizations with this. This is one I cooked up, which is audio visualization using HTML5 audio, web audio API, and data viz. So this is showing the canvas API rendering of data viz. And you can swap that. And I'm going to let this song burn into your brain. And enough of that. So that's one. This one's called Web Page Obesity. I cooked this one up. This is an homage to the HP Archive. So if you guys haven't seen that, the HP Archive is basically a place where you can see how badly we're doing as an industry, making our web pages fatter. And what this is doing is it just crawls the internet. It crawls over 300,000 URLs and tells you how the internet is made up. And so if you look at some of the stats, it's pretty depressing to look at these. Not only for the fact that they use Google Charts, which is depressing on its own, but also the fact of just how fat pages are getting. So the average web page today is over 1.5 megs. So I thought that these charts sucked, so I redid it. And so this is the chart that I did using Kendo Ui data viz. And these are basically showing the trends of content for an average web page for the last 2 years. So you can see that back in the day, pages consumed about 300K of JPEGs, and now they're ballooning up to 500. And so this orange line, by the way, is the Google page speed, an average page speed score for a page. So it's dropping, and this is not good, by the way. So we don't want to see this. We also have support for Spark lines as well. So if I jump back into our demos here, we have support for these little mini charts and graphs that you can add to things like grids and things like that, which is kind of cool. So we have a variety of those. The way in which you cook these up, by the way, I'll just show this because I haven't really shown any code yet, but you have these target elements, and basically the way that you target these elements is you just use a selector here, and you have an API that you'll call with a set of configuration data. And then so from there, it's really easy to just basically cook these things on the fly. It is worth noting that we actually do have bindings available today for Java, PHP, and .NET. So these bindings are basically server dependencies that we allow you to make. These are in the form of what we call server wrappers. So we have these server-side server wrappers that basically get you in the door easier. These are basically class libraries that we provide that allow you to omit the JavaScript and markup so you don't have to. So we make it simpler for you to basically work in the environment that you like. So that's part of the reason why we provide that. The final and probably most interesting one is Kendo Ui Mobile. And Kendo Ui Mobile is really interesting because it's in this realm of hybrid mobile web development where basically you're trying to preserve the fidelity of the device, that is the UI experience, by preserving your investment in existing skills with markup, script, and styles. And so what we have with Kendo Ui Mobile, I think, is a really compelling solution for building these experiences. And so by way of example, I'll just go ahead and I'm just going to connect to my reflector instance here, and I'll just give you an example of what this looks like. So I'm using my iPhone Live here. And there's a variety of apps I can show. I'll just show you Kendo Ui Mobile. When you hit the demo site today, this is what it will look like. So we actually show you a live preview. We do theme this accordingly by user agent. So similar to Sencha, we support BlackBerry. We do support Migo as well. So there you go for all you Symbian. There you go. Yeah, that's right. So we support BlackBerry. We support iOS, Android. We support Windows Phone. So these will theme accordingly, and you don't need to change any of your markup or script for that. So we have a variety of mobile widgets similar to what you saw in web. These are just widgets like a tab strip control, list view, things like that. All of our interactions are driven through CSS where available. So you can see the tweening library, the tweening effects that that little bounce effect that you have going on there. And we're just rendering this through a basically Safari, but we do support UI WebView as well, of course. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. We have a flat UI skin, which is pretty awesome. This is just a simple app that we wrote called Cuteness, and this just pulls the awe pictures from Reddit. So you guys have all seen the awe subreddit, I assume. All right, so that's just what allows you to pull those down. There you go. It's the safest. Honestly, it's the safest part of the internet you can go to. You know, for a live demo that pulls down live content, you can't go anywhere else but awe. So we have these drawer widgets that you can use as well. So very close to the thumb, which makes them useful in those scenarios. We also have some other examples of apps that I'll just show. We obviously made the Awesome Sauce music store, which is an homage to the music store put up by Microsoft. But you can see all the widgets here are basically, they look and feel native to the device. And to help with the realization of how that works, you can actually view the site itself. We have a simulator environment which we provide. The source code for the simulator is up on GitHub. You can go check it out. But what we do is we basically show you what these things, these experiences look like in each of the native counterparts. So none of the code here is changing. They're just switching out the user agent, and the framework itself will accommodate that. So it will actually change the location of tab strips. It will change the theme accordingly. You can lock it or preserve it to a particular theme. You can also theme these very easily through a theme role like widget we have as well. And of course, we have our flat skin, which is pretty awesome too. Cool. So one other thing I would like to talk about is, when targeting Kendo Ui Mobile, how can you actually build out these experiences? You can do so with a text editor, and it's very simple to do that. We have a product called Icenium, which stands for our Integrated Cloud Environment. And what this is basically a IDE that lives in the cloud that allows you to build out not only Kendo Ui based apps, but also other types of apps as well, built on other frameworks. So the way this works is you'll basically provide we provide this environment where you can do, basically cut out markup and scripts. But what's really powerful about this, and which goes a step beyond what other services have, like PhoneGap Build right now, is we support not only Cordova PhoneGap, but we also support custom plugins. So you can actually utilize this. So just to kind of show you how this works, we have a built-in simulator that you can go ahead and run these against, so we can actually see how these apps will look within the environment. So this is running within the context of the browser itself, because I'm tethered to my iPhone, which means it's going to suck in terms of performance, so we'll just kill that one. But I can also build, and what I can do here is we actually allow you to build and push the IPA or app file down to your local machine, or you can push it to an app we have called Icenium Ion. And the way this works is, when you have Ion installed, you can update your mobile app very quickly by simply holding 3 fingers against the device. So here's Ion. It's loading. It's got this app called Jitters, which is just a coffee app built in Kendo Ui Mobile. And if I want to update this, I just simply hold it with 3 fingers, and it will download the package from Icenium directly to the device. So I don't have to go to an app store. I can deploy this directly to the device for testing or for internal use only.
So is that just like a hot load? Like it just hot reloads whatever you've got in your IDE?
So the question is, how does that reload? I guess to paraphrase, it basically the app is basically it's known for Icenium in that instance.
Right.
So we provide a QR code through Icenium that you can scan with your device, and we'll pull it down. But it's hosted by Icenium, and so it uses this. We have this protocol scheme that we, the protocol scheme is Icenium :// and then we give a GUID and you pull that down. But we also have a build service which will actually push it up to the App Store as well if you want.
Because the BlackBerry devices, the new ones, they have a very similar feature, but they also add to that the ability to use Chrome web debugger in your browser while it's connected to, so you can debug live. Does it have that feature as well?
We have a feature called Live Sync that does exactly that, but I have to use the Windows client for that feature. So we have a Windows client in addition to the browser client. So the browser client you have here is called Mist. I know. The other one we have is called Graphite, which is our Windows, code words, whatever. We're trying to sound cool. But Graphite actually has a live sync feature, which allows you to do live debugging. However, that being said, if you're using an iOS device, you can tether and then do DOM inspection via Safari. So that's very easy to do. So.
But can you actually step through the JavaScript?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that doing Delta updates?
What's that?
Is that doing Delta updates or a full update?
It's doing a full update. Okay. We don't do deltas.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not that smart yet. So we'll see. We'll see. So the other thing that we can do with Icenium is we can actually if you deploy your provisioning profile as well for iOS as well as your dev certificate, we can also deploy to the App Store on your behalf. So if we choose to publish, we can go ahead and publish to obviously any app store we want. But the other thing that's nice is we can actually build and get the corresponding build, which is done remotely for the device itself, and then the result of that is obviously the IPA or app file that we can push to the device through iTunes. So
does Kendo have its own package, or does it use PhoneGap?
Kendo is separate from Icenium, but the way that the app container, we prescribe PhoneGap Cordova, basically. We're big fans of theirs, and yeah, that's the app container we
so that's what Icenium does?
Yep. So to give you some examples of where you might see Kendo UI in the wild, this is Kendo UI Web in combination with Twitter Bootstrap, so the two work really, really well together. We played really well with other frameworks out there, so we have a labs project set up where we show examples of frameworks that are used elsewhere. So we have, integration with Knockout, integration with Breeze, Angular, other ones like Backbone. We have a variety of, we have a linter and a bootstrapper that we've written as well. So there's lots of stuff that we're doing there. We just basically, we're just playing with a lot of these going forward. We also, in Icenium, can build out a variety of other app types as well. So we support Jquery Mobile, which is one of the types we support. And we also support Kendo UI Mobile. So just to kind of complete the story, if I were to create a project here, I can sync this up with GitHub or Bitbucket if I wanted to through the tool itself. But the last thing I'll finish on is the built-in designer we have for Icenium, which is obviously for designing these apps. So this is all living in the browser, so you can hit this anywhere you want. It's tethered, okay, so it's going to be slow. But if I bring up my index.html page here and jump into the designer, here's where I can actually start dragging and dropping UI widget widgets onto my design surface. And we also have the ability to pivot on the user agent itself. So here I'm using iOS, I can pivot to Android and see the rendering result for that as well. So this is all done in the browser itself. So that's our environment there. If you have any questions or you want to check out anything more further, Kendo UI is the website. If you have any questions about other frameworks versus Kendo UI, I wrote this webpage, which was Jquery UI versus KendoUI.com. Yeah, licensing and dual license, very similar to Sencha, both open source and commercial, GPL v3. I don't know who asked the question. I'm looking randomly here. Sorry. So yeah, we also have a custom downloader component, which is available for a custom download, which you can build if you're a commercial customer. So.
Are there any source code differences between the two?
So we open source web, but not the other two, which is mobile and DataViz, and we also make it available up on NuGet as well. But we do provide the source code if you're a commercial customer, and there are no source code differences in that. We do also provide TypeScript definitions as well, and we support a variety of other things as well. So too much, I don't want to bore you guys. So it's just like blah, blah, blah. It's like anything you can do, I can do better. You know, it's kind of getting to that sort of stage now. So.
Do you have a comparison against Sencha?
So what's funny is I put a Discuss forum integration with this, and everyone's just like, what about this? What about this? And I'm like, this was a bad idea. Like I never should have put this up because like now everyone's going to be like this versus X. And so no, I don't have one yet. Yet. Well, we'll see.
Tomorrow I might get
We can sit down and talk.
Yeah.
The Widget text editor, is that based on another framework, or is that entirely written by?
That's ours. The integration we have there, we have statement completion, and we've got IntelliSense as well. That's built on our technology, which is a product called Just Code, which integrates with Visual Studio, yada yada yada.
No, so not sure about. I meant the like the editing component with the.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, you're talking about the widget for Kendo Ui Web? That's ours. Yeah.
That's entirely.
Yeah.
Did you get
Just that? You can download it.
download just that?
Yeah.
Commercial version you can customize.
Yeah. We do publish Kendo Ui Web. It's on NuGet. So if you're into the NuGet thing, yeah, you can get it there. Otherwise, you can download it from kendoui.com. So, any other questions?
That framework section over there, with all these components.
Yes, sir.
Are they separate? Like, can you pick which ones you want and which ones you don't want?
Yes. Yes. So the custom, I'll show you what the custom downloader looks like. We do basically allow you to pick and choose the parts and pieces that you want. And that's intentional because you try and minimize the download. This is the matrix of what you get and what you don't get for various things. But we have this commercial custom download thing. And so you can pick and choose the stuff that you want. So I want an MVVM, I want core, which is like the baseline. But if I pick, say, the autocomplete, that will automatically choose those ones as well because it's necessary. We have dependencies on those. But this is how we build that. You can also go backpedal to other versions as well. Browser support IE7 and up. We don't support IE6. We dropped that after our first beta because customers told us to. And I know IE6 usage in Australia is 0.3%. So good luck justifying your need to pay for that. So I don't know.
You still support IE7?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting to see where Jquery is going, because they're dropping all the way up to 8, right? So we'll see how it goes, you know. So yeah, we just got to move there. We got to get everyone upgraded. So yeah, yeah.
Does this lock us to a particular Jquery version?
No. Obviously, you can backpedal to, you know, I don't know how far back you could go to. I mean, I haven't seen recently how well we do. But if you're running, say, I don't know, 1.6 or even less, you know, we typically bind against 1.9.1. I bind against, you know, living on the edge, man. Come on, 2, you know. So it works fine. We did have some problems with 1.9.0, but that was because they changed a few things. But those are just minor updates that we make. We do ship 3 times a year with interim service packs in between, and then if you're a commercial customer, you get fortnightly builds. So that's another thing worth mentioning.
How big's the team?
Not very big actually. We've got a good 2 pizza team. So we've got on the DevRel side, myself, I was on the team for a while. Got a few guys in the States, and then most of the development's done in Bulgaria, and their group is about 20 or so. So yeah, it's a good size basically. And that's marketing and other folks, but the dev team is, say, 15. So yeah, it's good size. You don't want to get any bigger than that, then it starts to get kind of crazy. So yeah, we got support engineers on that team as well. So they'll cook out a lot of code and stuff. So cool. All right, I guess we're covering the other side now. Sorry. Thanks.